they're done. And it's no wonder everyone avoided them like the plague.
TMZ just dropped a bomb on Blake Lively, and it made her day from pretty bad to devastating. So we are still waiting on the amended lawsuit from Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. They're supposed to be adding names or evidence, who knows? But it's supposed today is the due date and it has to be done by 11:59 p.m. We have been waiting, but that doesn't mean the news hasn't stopped. Earlier, I reported, I think I was the first to report on Blake Lively speaking out for the first time, and she's talking about her SNL appearance, and it is complete delusion. She really thought that this would be her chance to step back into the spotlight. If you haven't checked it out, I will make sure I link it at the end of this. But as soon as I did that, well, then another bomb drops, and Taylor Swift no longer is speaking to Blake Lively. And not only that, she's ended their friendship. But here's the twist, she's now working on a new album. We know this is Taylor's MO. When she breaks up, especially with a guy or with a friend, she creates a whole album for it. She feeds off of their pain, leaving them in the dust, and she leaves a trail of broken relationships in her wake. And I always like to tell people, listen, she's no spring chicken. They always say she's just this young, innocent. She didn't know she's being used. Sure, sis. We have the receipts. And at your age, 35, middle age, gestation, no, not gestational, geriatric pregnancy age, billion-dollar corporation machine, you know what you're doing. You're not the innocent victim every time. And honestly, by her doing this, it just shows like her character. This Blake Lively is a decade-long friend, and she's godmother. Well, they said she was godmother to three of the children, but she clarified before the Super Bowl, no, I only know one of your kids. It's really bad. But now, TMZ just dropped this, and you have got to listen to it. Let's get into it.
There has been a considerable amount of blowback with respect to the appearances of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds at the SNL 50th year reunion.
And I think not just that they appeared there, but were involved in the show in a way where seemed to be they were
did.
poking fun fully at this whole battle between Blake and Justin Baldoni.
Did not go over in a hilarious way.
With someone connected to Justin, who you will hear from in just a moment, but also that night from people in the room. We've spoken to several people who attended the special and then attended parties afterward, and the words that we heard were they were confused as to why they would be there and involved in this way.
Go back to that picture real quick.
Uh-huh.
It's really interesting. A lot of them are just not looking at him at all, even though he's standing and talking.
Right.
That's really interesting.
Uh-huh.
And nobody's amused, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, they just thought it was puzzling that they would be out considering all the things that have been said in this war between Blake and Justin. So now that's not to say that they were completely ignored. From what we've heard, there were people who were talking to them. Paul McCartney, strangely enough, was hanging out with them. But there were other people who actually avoided them, is what we heard, that were just didn't want to get into conversation with them.
Well, you can understand it. They're sort of radioactive. In one breath, Blake Lively is saying she was the subject of serious sexual harassment during the filming of It Ends With Us, and now they're making light of it on SNL's 50th reunion show. So tonally, it does seem off, and I can imagine people just wanting to stay away from it. You're going to catch shrapnel if you get involved in this drama at this point.
You know what?
That's probably the point. Like,
can I tell you,
you don't want to catch a stray.
The craziest thing about everything that's unfolding. Okay, I get the Blake Lively thing, and I know that there is a history there that people have been talking about, and the war with Justin Baldoni. But to say the word radioactive in the same sentence as Ryan Reynolds is unbelievable.
It's because we were not there. That's just not where Hollywood was. And
it was the opposite.
Complete opposite.
Most beloved, one of the most beloved actors in this town. And that's why, look, when you see people doing commercials, you know that they've checked out their popularity. I mean,
Right, because
he's
normally that's something that actors don't want to do, but you know he knows he can do it because it's not going to affect his Q rating.
Yet now he is in the middle of this whole thing, and really was in the middle of it. It's just nobody knew it until now. But it's breathtaking the way he's been kind of balled up in this whole thing.
Yeah.
And by the way, his lawyer,
Or Justin's
Justin
lawyer.
Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, was on Billy Bush's podcast yesterday, and he had some choice words about Ryan Reynolds' choice words.
Now, pause. Is he talking about Ryan Reynolds got balled up into this thing? Are you kidding me? I really believe TMZ has not even looked at the lawsuit, because last week they were talking to Justin Baldoni's lawyer. I reported on this, and it was just like, are you going to really go through with this? It's just a PR war. You've won the war. What's the point in keep going? I mean, is he really going to depose Taylor Swift? That seems to be who they really want to protect. Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds. Well, Ryan Reynolds is now persona non grata. You even had Ari Emanuel, who owns WME, the largest management talent agency in the world. And he was defending them on the podcast, making fun of Justin Baldoni's name, calling him baloney or whatever. He was like baloney, Baldoni, whatever his name is, and really was taking a giant dump. And all of Hollywood has been smug. The media has been smug. They really thought they were better than the average people out here collecting receipts like you and I. And so they cannot believe that. What? Like our PR BS hasn't worked? You mean we can't just squash David? We're Goliath. We're God. They're not even Goliath. They're God, okay, in their mind. And they have just been taking, not, just, I guess I want to say they're taking their old formula of how things would work in order to spin a story and make a star look good, to protect a star. But now that's all falling apart. And this is why Harvey is just bewildered and confused. But also, you would see media outlets are saying, oh, it was great that they were there. It was like mixed, the internet is trying to crucify them, but they really had a great time and all of that. But now it's crazy. The day they're filing this amended lawsuit, the day it comes out, Blake Lively is saying, she's coming back into the limelight, the spotlight. Taylor Swift breaks up with her, and the bad news continues. But let's watch.
What did you think when you saw, Ryan, make light of the situation? I guess try to find some humor in all this.
I'm unaware of anybody, frankly, whose wife has been sexually harassed and has made jokes about that type of situation. I can't think of anyone who's done anything like that, and so it surprised me.
So I got to tell you, all I'm thinking in my head is one word: deposition. Because when Ryan Reynolds sits for a deposition,
Right.
if it gets that far,
Tell us about when you went in for the meeting and going over the script with SNL.
well, what I'm
And
thinking
whose
is,
decision?
what Brian Friedman is going to say is, so you were upset that you say your wife was harassed, and he's going to say yes, and he's going to say, yet you kind of made a joke of it, or made a joke of it.
Well,
that's what he'll
more
say.
than asking Ryan, he's going to put that question to Blake, because she's sitting there, she's party to it, in knowing and reacting to the lines.
You're going to do it with both, but you're going to do it with Ryan.
Right.
You're going to do it.
But
with
my
both.
point is, do you say to Blake, you
were
said
sitting there, you
so
co-signed
upset.
on it. You co-signed on it. So it's like these things bite you in the ass sometimes.
Right. It's sort of like when there's a case going on, we always say that you don't hear the people speak out about it at all. This happened with Alec Baldwin during his case, and he sat and did a big interview, and we're like, that was really puzzling. This is why people generally zip up when they're in the middle of something like this.
Hi, I'm Marie from Richmond, Virginia, and I echo the same sentiments. Celebrities avoiding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds really goes to show that their careers are pretty much done and over. Blake Lively more than Ryan Reynolds. Radioactive is the same word that describes them. If you look at Robert De Niro's face as well as Kevin Costner, it's extremely telling. They're done. And it's no wonder everyone avoided them like the plague.
That last woman, she's actually a TikToker that has been covering this case for a while. I actually follow her. She has some really good insights into everything that's going on. But guys, this confirms what I reported yesterday, what I reported earlier, what I have been saying, what all of us have been saying, and Hollywood is finally having to accept it. It's over. Khaleesi has fallen. Her dragons are abandoning her. And I have tea that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are actually living separately and a divorce is impeding. It's coming. But I can't confirm all of that. I'm gathering receipts. Now, there was some tea as well, was that that Ryan Reynolds wanted a divorce before all of this. And Blake, when the lawsuit, all this stuff started happening, well, they had to ride or die for each other. But it's getting messy. But just like she had her dragons, guys, I created exclusive merch over here at my store, realmelanyking.com. The link is always in the description box and in the pinned comment below. But just to show you guys who haven't seen it, I designed these exclusively, so I'm very proud. And I'll show you the design. Last time I showed the mug, I'll show the pillow. It looks a little dipped down there, but it's not. It's straight. It's just they're trying to show the pillow. But there, she has her dragons, and now we are the Justice Dragons fighting for justice. We do not want a settlement. We don't want anything but justice. And according to Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, that's going to happen. So it comes in a mug, the lilac shirt, the white shirt, and then it ends with court. And all of my pillows are double-sided. The mugs, the design go all the way around, but it ends with court, a play on it ends with us. And of course, I have my florals. So if you want to support the show and the work that we do here, because it takes a lot of work just to pull all this data and these things together, I would really appreciate it. You could also follow me on my socials. Those will be linked below in the description box. And with that, I will see you guys on the next one.